Hello Legends. In this video, I'm going to give you a run through of this n8n scenario, which is going to enable you to create your own email newsletter. So as you can see here in this section, we have the, I would call this like the highlights section. So absolutely whatever topic you want to create this email newsletter on, this is the highlight section. Within the highlight section, you can actually click on these links. So if I click on this, it's going to open up the web page and link directly to the article that was referenced when writing this specific newsletter. So you've got lots of information there. And at the very bottom of this email, we also have an attachment which includes the raw, comprehensive report of all the separate web searches that were used to generate this actual email newsletter. So you can scroll through here, you can actually see each of the individual web search requests that were used in the web search API, as well as the information that was accompanying like the response of that web search request as well. So if we scroll to the very bottom, for this report, we actually had, there we go, 9 web search requests, and then we have all the information here. So actually, this is a really neat newsletter because you have the highlight section. You can dig into the highlight section by clicking on all these separate URL links, and then you have the full report that you can use to read and learn more information here. So it's highly curated on your specific topic, and I reckon that's the magic of this system. So let's go across to n8n and see how this works. So I'm going to test the workflow and just fire off the trigger. So the first thing is we have the agent prompted up to create the actual newsletter. We're using our OpenAI chat model. And then over here, this is what you see here. This number represents how many web search queries were used to generate this report or this newsletter. So in this case, this is 25 separate HTTP requests to the OpenAI web search API. So that means we're going to have a really neat report here. Now the agent's going to process this. It's probably going to take quite a while because it's like 25 separate requests. But the agent processes the actual HTTP results, or the web search results. We parse the output, so we have a JSON object of the subject and the body of the email that we create. I'm going to come back to these two nodes in just a second, but this is what's used to actually create that file, which is this file over here. And like I said before, we're going to have a JSON object of this email subject, and this is the email body, which is structured in HTML. So once this agent finishes processing, it runs through this system, and then the email is sent over here. This might take a couple of, like maybe a minute or 2 minutes to actually process, but I'm just going to stop this because I think we understand the rest of the workflow here. And now I'm going to start digging into each of these nodes and just show you how to set this up. So the first thing is we have a scheduled trigger. So this enables us to run this automation basically on demand. And I've got mine set up here for the days, which is 1, and the trigger hour is 9. So this basically says that every single day at 9 a.m., trigger up this workflow and then deliver me this report. But what you could actually do is you could just turn this to weeks, and you can have this on weeks. You can change this to, let's say, Monday, Sunday, whatever day you want at 9 a.m. And you could create multiple workflows where, let's say, on Monday you want to get the latest AI news, on Tuesday you want to get the latest stock news, on Wednesday the latest real estate news, on Thursday you want to get the best cupcake recipes of that week, and maybe on Friday you want to curate all the latest Reddit posts, and on Saturday you want to plug into an RSS feed of your favorite YouTube channel and just get the latest episodes that they release that week as well. So it's highly customizable. It's super cool what you can do with this, and it comes into your email. And the cool thing is you can just take it. It's your specific content. You can share it with friends. It's so easy. But the magic happens within this chat, within this AI agent module. So the two things we're going to discuss here are the actual prompt, and then this option here, which is called return intermediate steps. This is actually like the biggest unlock for this scenario, and I'm going to explain why just a little bit later. So if I open up the prompt, the main thing we want to do is actually maintain consistency of the format. So okay, we have our subject of the email, cool, but actually every time that I receive this email, I want the exact same format. I don't want to just leave this up to the AI agent to kind of go on their own and just spray gun whatever kind of email they want to create. I really want to have, for my use case, I want to have this specific, these sections. So economic snapshot of the USA, key retailer updates. I want to have outdoor and camping industry trends, B2B sales opportunities, and conversation starters. I want every single time I get this email, I'm expecting the exact same format, the exact same information, and I just want to have the latest version of this, let's say every Monday when I get into work. So that's what we're doing here. This is the full prompt. So this first section, we're just establishing, hey, this is the current date and time. So when we're doing our web search requests, we know which dates to kind of look for, so we're getting the latest information. But this bit here, this is the HTML layout of the email. So all the stuff you see here, all this like formatting of this bolded date, it's bigger. You see these smaller subheadings, the actual text. You see all these little links and stuff like that. That's all established within this format here. So we want to have that in the prompt so that when the agent outputs the body of our email, it includes it in this specific layout. And then on the very bottom here, if I just zoom out and I zoom back in, we have our content requirements and important notes about formatting. So yeah, once again, this is key for us to have. So we established the actual structure of the email in this section above. And then over here, we have the curated content that we want to create. Now, as an aside, I'm a co-owner. Like this is an e-commerce brand that I run with my 3 older brothers, and my specific role right now is to expand our our wholesale in USA. So I'm trying to get our products into all the big box retailers and specialty retailers across the USA. So this is what we do. We do outdoor camping gear. And to make my job easier, I want a highly curated dump of information about, let's say, our target retailers. And I've got examples here like REI, Cabela's, Shields, Toys for Trucks. So this is, let's say, this is like my ideal customer that I want to get into. And as an aside, if you are in the in the retail space in USA and you can help me get into, shake some hands or introduce me and get me into some meetings with some of these guys that you see on the screen now, please reach out to me. My email's in the description of this video. Yes, that is a big ask, and I would appreciate any help. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, I've established what I really want in the content, and then I let the AI agent do the rest. So this prompt is the only dynamic thing is the actual date that we're inserting into here. But again, nothing is actually passed through from the schedule trigger. This schedule trigger just basically says, all right, agent, like fire off and do your thing. So we're using our chat model, which is just GPT-4o. Now I tested out some other chat models. I've also used like the o1 because I thought they might be a bit more comprehensive. It might be better. Actually, the best combination I found is GPT-4o and this length of the prompt. I found if my prompt was super long, where I had like a really high level specific output format, if my instructions were super like very, very in depth, the longer the prompt, typically the fewer web search that it would get, because I think the overall context of the API call itself could only handle a specific amount of like context for input and output tokens. So that's one thing that I was kind of playing around with, and I think you guys can play around with a little bit more as well. But if you did want to save some space, like you could definitely build out the actual HTML formatting within the Gmail module. So just to kind of jump across, like in this message field here, I'm putting the output of that AI agent, but you could technically build out all your 5 sections here, and then you can make the AI agent just output the content that you paste into the sections without the formatting. Yeah, and you would just save some tokens. But anyway, that's what's happening here. And then the agent uses the web search API. If I zoom into here, we're just defining this tool as use this tool to search the web. And then we have this openai.com responses API. So this is the new API from OpenAI. This is the responses API. And within the responses API, we can actually do web search. So all I've done is I've taken this stripped back form of an API call. So this is a curl request. And I can see here, I have my endpoint URL that I'm pointing the API call to. I've got my 2 headers over here. So the first one is content type. The second one is authorization. So I can actually authenticate my API call. And then this part here is the body of the API call. And you can see we have to define the model, which is GPT-4o. We have to define a tool that we're using, which is Web Search Preview. And then our input, which in our case is going to be dynamic, but that's what we're doing. We're inserting the dynamic search request. So if you remember from our this detailed document here, this search request, which is US Consumer Spending Trends March 2025, that's what we're actually inserting into that API call, into this space here dynamically. So now let me just jump out of here, go back into n8n. So now with all that information in mind, it's the post request to that same endpoint URL that we had. Instead of sending my API credentials, like the authorization in the header, I'm sending it because I already have the credential pre-configured for my like other OpenAI stuff. So I'm using the pre-configured credential type, choosing OpenAI and OpenAI account. But you could just really create that in the header. So for my headers, I've got content type, application JSON, which is what we needed from over here. So content type, application JSON, and yeah, my second content type is already the pre-configured API, my pre-configured authorization. So if we zoom out, scroll down a little bit, and now we have over here the body of the API call. This is the exact same body as what we had in the API call here. So model, tools, and input. And we've got model, tools, and input. And for input, I'm just defined a custom placeholder variable, which is web search question, and then the AI just knows to insert the web search question into here. So super easy peasy to set this up. Very powerful API call, very simple API call. And then you can see here, for that run that we just had, we have like 25 different results. So you can actually flick through to each of these, like the 21. You can see here, what's this? 21 is consumer spending trends for USA March 2025. That was the question that was asked. And the output is this entire output here. So you can see this one, like for the report that we generate in that email, this would literally be copied directly into that report. Now, I want to speak just quickly about the information that you get here. So typically when you're executing a tool call with an agent, the information that you get from the tool itself is not propagated through into the agent and into the other modules. You can't just access it in any simple way. So, I mean, you can access it in a simple way. And to do that, if we go back into this AI agent, this is what I was speaking about before, this return intermediate steps. So to access this, you just go to add option, and it's actually listed here, but since we are already using it, it's not listed. Return intermediate steps means that every single time it fired off to here, this 26 times to make this HTTP request, this tool request, all that information, we've captured it. We've captured it and we've put it into our flow so we can access it later on. And then we're actually accessing it over here, and then we're creating our file in here as well. But before we go into that, we are setting our output of this agent to be require a specific output format, and that specific output format is the JSON output, which we're creating in this structured output parser. So if I open this up, our output that we're expecting is a subject, which is a string, and then the body, which is just a string. And then using this subject and a body, if I just zoom out of here, I'm going to skip into this Gmail module quickly. The subject and a body is what we're pasting into here, subject and body here. So you can actually create your two email address here. We're using our regular send operation. And I'll come back to this specific attachment section. And then, yeah, the other option I've got is remove the n8n attribution. So I don't want it to say, hey, sent from n8n. So after the actual agent, so after the agent has all these HTTP requests for web search, the agent processes it, and it creates that high-level summary, which is going to be in the structure which we see here. This is the HTML structure that we see here. And that, sorry, let me zoom out of this. And this content is what the AI agent creates as the summary of this document. And again, this documents all the role search results. So this is what we get returned here. And yeah, because we did that cool thing where we chose return intermediate steps, now in this specific code block, we have a function that I just used ChatGPT to create this function. And if I go to AI agent, okay, so I don't have any data here right now. But basically, actually, let me just execute it and just show you live as well. So I'm going to test workflow and let it execute. Okay, and while that is executing, I want to introduce you to a waitlist for an AI community that I want to create. So I've had quite a few people express interest in an AI community. So yeah, I'm deciding to create a waitlist. I'm still figuring out exactly what's going to be inside the community. I don't really see a need or a purpose like in creating another generic kind of like a generic AI community that is not going to provide you any other value that's different to the other communities that you're already part of. So I'm very open to like building this out to be whatever like people want this to be. But at a high level, it's going to have weekly calls, which will be recorded and available within the community as well. Behind the scenes builds of my n8n make.com scenarios, including like if I'm exploring things, if I'm building things out for clients, like what my process is. Behind the scenes walkthroughs of my custom coded caller, so like my custom 11 Labs caller, my custom 1cent caller, like all that stuff. I'm even building out another custom, like the new OpenAI voice API that came out that's really dynamic in voice range. You can speak really slowly, enunciate different words. All that stuff, like a deeper dive into that code, probably even better versions of the code instead of what I release on YouTube, like updated versions of the code will be available on the community as well as like my own deep dives and walkthroughs. Behind the scenes builds of me using different tools like Retail, which is my actual favorite AI, like third-party AI caller. And then all the resources from my public YouTube videos that are on my YouTube profile. The community will be run by myself and my brother Chris, who actually is doing all the cold email and lead gen for our AI agency. He ran his own lead gen agency for a long time, and he fully set up all of Julka.com's sales and marketing pipeline. So Julka.com is the e-commerce brand that I co-run with my three older brothers, and Chris is one of my brothers. So that's all this stuff. And my expertise is in using no code and code tools to run automations, to build custom callers, to build these nuanced n8n and make.com scenarios. And probably I'm very interested in like SaaS and databases and scaling things. So that kind of stuff probably trigger that into the community as well. My starting price is going to be 55. And yeah, basically I really appreciate that you guys are following my channel. I want to make this community to kind of integrate like myself more into like what people want. Like I just want to learn more about what's going on from your point of view. How can I be a bit more valuable? How can I curate my own content to be better for you? So I'm still open to like changing things up, and got a couple of questions here, which are what's your name, what's your email, how long you've been watching my content for, what do you enjoy the most, just so I can start learning about what might be good for the community itself, and then what's a must-have that would make that $55 price worth it for you to be part of this community as well. So if you are interested, the link is going to be in the description of this video. And yeah, let's get back into the n8n scenario. Okay, so we see over here it's executed. So we had 23 requests to our web search API, and now let's get back into this code block. So what we're actually doing is this is the output of the AI agent. We have the subject and a body, which is what we spoke about before with the output parser. We also have this extra output here, which is called intermediate steps. That intermediate steps is from the AI agent, where we chose show intermediate steps, and it has absolutely everything from the AI agent. If I scroll down, we have this variable called, let me just get to it. It is so low down here. It's called observation. And within observation, we have all of the separate web search queries and all the separate web search responses. So I literally copied this entire thing, like all of this. I think there's like a copy button here that I could just use, but it's not showing up now. I'll copy this entire response. I'll put it into ChatGPT, or actually into Claude, and I said, hey, create me an n8n code block that I will do. Basically, it'll process this response and it'll pull out all the web search results and all the web search questions, and then format them so I can put them into a text file. So that's what you see here. You can just basically do what I said, recreate it for yourself in ChatGPT. I'll probably also release this on my Gumroad as well. So yeah, if there's a link for the Gumroad, you can get all of this stuff for yourself. And then you get this web search results, this entire text field here, which is what we plug into the next module, which is this convert to file module. So the convert to file module has all that formatted text from the code block, and we're inserting it into here. We are saying that the output file is going to be in a field called data, and we need this when we're doing the attachment in Gmail. And then the file name is detailed web search report. So that's what we get when we're in Gmail. This is what it's called over here, detailed web search report. So I'm just going to zoom in, so you can actually change the name to be whatever you want. Now back in n8n, if we just zoom out, you can actually view this now. So I'm just going to go view here. Okay, so it's not going to fully show. It's going to show a little bit weird. Let's just go download and open it up. So here we go. We have the actual text here, and this is the same format as before. We go to the very, very bottom, and if I just zoom in, yeah, we had 23 separate questions that were put into the web search, and then 23 results. So this is fully comprehensive. This is actually so cool, and it's so customizable. And then in Gmail, if we click into here, we're basically pulling in the subject and the body from the AI agent. So we're going to go to 3 nodes back, and we're going to choose this AI agent node, and now we have access to that data. And that's how we pull it into here, by pulling the subject and pulling the body like into here, but it's already there. And then the other fields here are basically options where I've turned off the n8n attribute, so we don't have that little tagline at the very bottom. And then the attachment file field name is just data, and like we already know from the previous block, this is the point over here. So in that convert to file, we had this data, and that's what we're plugging it into this attachment section. To get the attachments, by the way, it's just this add option, and it's not showing up here because I've already used it in this Gmail module. But yeah, it'll just be showing up here, and then it should already be pre-populated with data anyway. That's how this workflow works. And yeah, it's super customizable. You can have multiple agents running at different days. You could probably just put one schedule trigger here. You can put an if workflow, and you can make it check for which day it is. And for Mondays, you might have it routing to a specific agent. For Tuesdays to another agent, or you might actually just do an if statement, have a set value block, then you might have the 5 different prompts already inserted, and then you insert the variable that holds the prompt into the AI agent, and then you actually just have one workflow like exactly like this, but the 2 blocks at the head here will basically hold all of your separate prompts for all the separate days, and you'd have like a little kind of if statement that just checks what day is it. Cool, use this prompt. But yeah, super cool. Hope you guys like this. If you do, please like, subscribe, follow along with my channel. If you're a business owner and you want like a highly curated, personalized like newsletter going out to your own internal business, I'm happy to build this out for you, make it even more fantastic than it is now. Help you create a really cool email structure. Like with HTML, you can introduce like also like a very, very nice, visually aesthetic, visually appealing email as well. This is pretty bland, but you can do a lot here. You can put like a company logo, like up into the top. You can click here, like your website link. Click here for customer support. You could probably even make like a customer support version of this, of all the recent customer support tickets and all the top issues and stuff like that. So it's very, very dynamic. Happy to help out. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoy this and have a nice day.